Welcome to the Downtown, brought to you by Arlington Citizen Media. I am Rudy John, and today we talk to Chris Hightower from the Arlington Museum of Art, all about their move that's happening next year to the Taylor Swift exhibit that's happening next month. It's a great conversation, and you get to hear so much about what is actually happening with the Arlington Museum of Art moving to the entertainment district. So we have Chris here in a second, but also we have local music. We get to hear from Pratty Punk with their single Boxed Rebellion. But first, here is Pratty Punk with their other single, Brand New Revolver.
This old tree won't bend. Now the soil's dried and used up, gonna take it all, send it back to the land. Why you always gotta kick a man when he's down, while you spitting right in his face? Just another lost soul burned to the ground, another angel's fall from grace. You're gonna find out the hard way, and no one around is your friend. Are you self-important, yammering, and all they wanna know? You got more to spend. You know that the world inside really ain't so grand. you back to the land.
I am here with Chris Hightower. He is with the Arlington Museum of Art, the CEO and the, I believe, head curator, right?
Well, no, we have a director of exhibitions, so I'm mostly just the president and CEO. I do dabble a little bit in the curation.
Well, there we have it then. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Thanks for coming on. We have been meaning to talk to you guys for a long time. I've loved, the museum as well. Right now, the city is abuzz because the news broke that after 30 years, the museum is moving from the essentially what's turned into the arts district of Arlington over to the entertainment district into the expo center, which is inside the esports stadium, and that's happening next year. Y'all are growing into 8 times more space than you have now. That you guys have been there for over 30 years. How did this all happen? How did you guys want to move to the entertainment district? And then, I guess just tell us all about it.
Yeah, sure. So it actually started in 2014. There was an exhibit that I wanted to get that I was able to finally get. It was actually a Star Wars exhibit before the last 3 films came out that George Lucas had on tour. And I was able to get a contract, but then it fell through because we didn't have the right square footage that we needed, and the space, like our front doors, were not big enough, and Darth Vader was literally in a glass box and couldn't be tilted, and so we couldn't even get the items through the door. And so we were on the hunt back then to try to find another venue to still keep the exhibit, and it just never worked out. And so I've kind of been thinking about this ever since that 2014 exhibit kind of fell through. So so we did a feasibility study and looked at spaces all around town. And the main thing that we needed was large square footage, but all on one floor for multiple reasons. ADA requirements, but also moving large pieces up and down in freight elevators. It's just not really feasible. Freight elevators are expensive. And the one site that became the most obvious was the expo hall. So when they decided to build a new convention center, it became actually a potential option. So we just started pursuing it, and here we are today.
Wow. So how did you guys finally, obviously you guys are working with the city on it. How did it finally come to be that, all right, we're actually going to make this happen? I love the backstory of how it took a Darth Vader for y'all to realize that y'all needed more space.
Right. It is kind of a crazy story, but it's true. Yeah, so we started working with the city about a year and a half ago on, various sites. And when this one became pretty clear that it was the right spot for many reasons, financially, it's the best deal for everybody involved. It would be in the entertainment district, which would add another component. It'd be next to the Medal of Honor Museum, so the 2 museums could feed off of each other, creating a bit of a museum district in Arlington. So there were a number of variables that just kind of came together, all the stars aligned, if you will, and it just kind of worked out. So it took us about a year to really negotiate all the nitty-gritty details, but got it finally worked out last week, so we're excited.
I imagine. And then also you guys, there's so much work that can be done when it comes to the esports as well, because, a lot of people don't still fully grasp the esports in general, but every time I've been to one, it is as much fun and it is loud as going to a Ranger game or a Cowboy game or Mavs, Stars, any of the traditional sports that people are used to. Esports is that amplified, and it's a younger crowd as well. And essentially, if you look at it, it's a moving, controllable art piece, really.
And I know that there's been so many art exhibits throughout the world when it does come to video games and stuff. And I imagine you two will be pairing off very well with each other. And then also, I believe you guys are also going to try to do more interactive art as well.
Yeah. So the thing that people don't really know yet is that we are planning on a 20,000 square foot immersive gallery setup. And so the immersive galleries will be similar. You know, the ones that people are the most familiar with are the Van Gogh immersives, which in my mind, those are very commercialized. They're not really, not that they're not art, but there's a lot of conversation in the art world that, you know, Van Gogh was never intended, his pieces were never intended to be viewed that way because of the texture and the color. Mm-hmm. But there are artists around the world, many of them are coming out of Asia that do legitimate art for art purposes that are meant to be immersive. And many of them are kind of based in new technology and has a younger, you know, kind of appeal to it. So I think in that sense, we're going to be a really good match for what's happening at esports, kind of rethinking sports in a tech kind of way. So the same thing will happen with us, rethinking art in a tech kind of way. Then we'll still have some traditional galleries, so about 17,000 square feet of traditional galleries, but adding a tech component to it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, I've been to the Van Gogh experience, and it is a lot of fun, and you're right. I took art history classes years ago, and Van Gogh was not meant for what he was trying to do. There's layers on there. There's so much, like you said, texture, and it's crazy how much a lot of his art is just lost because he did a lot of it to pay his bills or to, you know, get another drink or another bit of food. And so I did find the experience very interesting, especially with like the VR, which and that even seemed VR is super amazing, but that even seemed a little old VR wise for what they could have done immersion wise with the art. And I know, you know, going forward, VR will get a lot better, and it'll be art will just continue to grow with the VR as well. And like you said, the immersion aspect of it.
Yeah, exactly. So, and there's a couple of smaller spaces in Texas, but this is kind of taking on across the United States. So there's a Super Blue is in Miami. There's another big immersive in New York City, and then in LA. I think there's one in Chicago, and ours will be the biggest one in Texas. So we're really excited that we're going to be able to be leading in new types of art in Texas. We're excited about that. And it'll fit in with the other museums. You know, they're not doing this kind of work. So it's not like we're repeating what's already out there. We're adding a new component. So we're excited about it.
Yeah, being the first with something is a lot of times not as talked about as much as opposed to people later that have taken the same idea but then maybe done it better or different or whatever. But I love the fact that Arlington, again, is being one of those groundbreaking cities of, you know, even in the art world, which I love the city of Arlington, but I feel like there's not enough or as much attention when it comes to the art side of what is happening with the artists and the music and everything happening inside Arlington. So I am glad that it is now being put in a spot to where it can have that spotlight that it deserves and show that Arlington, again, we're putting the art back in Arlington.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. And we'll keep, you know, we have about 5,500 square feet right now where we do Youth Art Month with the AISD. We have a small gallery of 1,000 square feet now that we use emerging artists and local artists, things like that. We're going to keep a 5,000 square foot gallery for those types of purposes. And that gallery, it will be free to visitors. So the traditional galleries and the immersive galleries, those will be the ones that are, have a fee. But the idea there is to also lift up emerging and local artists and give them a place as well, which you also don't really get that at the other museums in the area.
Very true. I mean, I love what Mark Jokel's been doing with the Create Arlington as well, because he's giving a co-working space for artists, and a lot of people, again, aren't really doing that. And I think we need more spotlight on art, because it's not like the world doesn't love art, because it does. It just doesn't put the spotlight on it that I think it deserves to.
Yeah, and I think the collaborations with the other things that are happening in Arlington, it should be a magnet for artists around the state to want to come and work here and be a part of what's happening. So we're excited to be a catalyst to that.
That's awesome. Now, I know you may not know the answer to this, but I know a lot of people are asking, what will happen with the current museum building?
Yeah, so we are selling it, and we are right now we're waiting for a final contract. And so as soon as we have a final contract on that, we'll be able to make some sort of announcement on that.
Okay. There you go. Yeah, I know a lot of people were going to ask, and they're very curious, so I had to ask.
Yeah.
Now, not only was the city of Arlington buzzing about this announcement, but a couple of weeks ago, Taylor Swift took over the AT&T Center for 3 nights in a row, sold out. I saw videos and pictures. People were losing their minds. Jalen, that normally dances in front of the Parks Mall, was there.
Yeah.
He got his hat, which he, again, lost his mind over, which I love. But so people that are still high off that concert can now, well, not now, but starting June 3rd, people can come check out the Taylor Swift Eras collection. Yeah. What can people look forward to when it comes to having T-Swizzle at Arlington Museum of Art?
Yeah, I think people, Swifties in particular, I think are really going to love it, because there's, lots of things that are significant to her, like the number 13. There's some other things that Swifties know really well. That's a Taylor Swift thing. They're going to find a lot of that in this exhibit. For people that are more into understanding her as an artist, that's kind of the direction that we're taking. Like, what does it mean to be a musician, a performer like that? But you also have this branding component, and she's really keeps things tight in terms of the way that she presents herself as an artist. Mm-hmm. And visually, there's a story that can be told. So we'll be telling that story about Taylor Swift as a visual artist as well.
Were you able to meet Taylor at all?
No, unfortunately. Maybe she'll show up someday. We don't know.
That would be awesome. I mean, I imagine, she's got a break in her tour at some point. She's got to come check out her collection.
Well, the cool thing is we're the only museum getting this collection. So we will have it from June 3rd to September 24th. And I don't know when the tour ends, but sometime at the end of the year. But we got an exclusive on this, so we're excited about it.
How did that come to be?
Well, there's just a lot of things that go into that, and can't tell you all the details, but we just made it work.
That will bring more people in than, I think maybe a Cowboy game or maybe some of the sports games that are coming through as well.
Well, the cool thing about that is we have had a record number of memberships across the country from people all over the place. Connecticut, some folks from Alaska are coming. The first day we started selling tickets, I think it was Monday, we sold over 1,000 tickets in 12 hours or 10 hours or something. So, and people are coming from all over the country. So we're excited about that.
That's incredible. I mean, congratulations. That's huge.
Yeah. Well, it just shows that even, us here in Arlington, people don't think that we have a museum, don't know we have a museum, but people all across the country do. So, we're excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's good, obviously, that it again, putting the spotlight back on Arlington. And it's funny when I go travel other places and they're like, oh, yeah, where are you from in Texas? I'll say the DFW area, but then I'll say I'm from Arlington because, you'll say Arlington and they're like, oh, where's that? And it's like, well, unfortunately you have to do it's west of Dallas, east of Fort Worth, but and then you can start naming sports teams and stuff. But there's so many things but then of course it's the second most traveled to city for destinations outside of Orlando. So
right, and we know that because here we track where people come from as they're checking in at the front desk, and 48% of our visitors come from over 50 miles away. And so if you think about that, these are people that are not, this is further than Denton, further than Hillsborough. So these are people coming to town for a reason, whether it's our exhibits. We had some people fly in from Australia to see our Ansel Adams exhibit. People fly in from Canada. So we know that, but it's hard to get that information out to people. But yes, we're definitely a recipient of that tourism. And we just want to solidify that and kind of scale it up in a bigger way. I think the new museum will help us do that.
I mean, without a doubt, again, you guys have 8 times more size than you have now. So,
right.
I can't wait to see how you guys fill all of that. I mean, like you said, about half of it is going to be an immersive art display, and then the rest of it's just going to be even more amazing.
Yeah, we're excited about it. We have a schedule already kind of planned out for the next 2 or 3 years. So I think the public is going to be very excited about the things we have coming.
I love that. Now, speaking of the museum, it started all the way back in the 50s, but the actual building that y'all are in, you guys weren't in, I think, until 91, right?
Right. I think we bought the building 87, 89, moved in 89, and I think our first exhibit was in 1990. And, so we've been here right about 33 years, and we're ready. We've outgrown the space, and we're ready to take our place, in the cultural arts in North Texas.
Yeah, and I mean, again, adding to the even more entertainment that is happening in that area, which, again, that is not getting any smaller by any means. So anybody, I can't wait to see what else gets thrown over there. I did see some plans for something that might be happening in the next 7 years, and I'm very curious how that would work. So,
it's exciting. It's cool for the city, and we'll be able to boast about so many great things from the arts, museums, sports, everything. So it is exciting.
Yeah, and then obviously with why am I having an issue with that square that's over there?
Oh yeah, Lincoln Square.
Lincoln Square. Wow, I had a giant brain fart. In Lincoln Square, getting the facelift that it's going to get within the next few years as well. I mean, that area is just going to be more attractive than it ever was.
Right. Yeah, that's the idea. We're excited.
Now, also happening in June, your art camp, which is for ages 6 through 12, starts on June 12th. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure, yeah. This is a long-standing program that we've done with the Arlington Independent School District. And for those people that understand how the school districts work, the city of Arlington actually goes into Mansfield ISD, Grand Prairie ISD, Euless ISD. So there's actually some overlap. And right now in the space we have, we can only serve so many students. So moving into the new space will actually allow us to attract more students, not just from Arlington, but, even further into Grand Prairie, Mansfield, Euless, even Fort Worth and the surrounding areas that, they can't necessarily get to Dallas or Fort Worth, but we'll have another outlet here for youth art and education in art. So we're excited. But that's been one of our biggest programs that we've done with our summer art camp.
Yeah, so where can people sign up?
Yeah, our website. You can do pretty much anything you want to do on our website. So arlingtonmuseum.org. You can buy tickets to Taylor Swift. You can join the summer camp, find out more information about our move and the capital campaign we have. Pretty much anything we've got going on lives on our website.
There we go. Now, you were brought into the position in the early 2000s to help bring the focus of art again back to the city. What was your vision back then?
Well, it was really more the vision of the board. I was on the board at the time, and it used to be Texas Contemporary Art, and it just was kind of struggling to survive in a city that really kind of didn't grasp Texas Contemporary Art. And so the board, being made of mostly local people, really wanted to kind of expand the mission and the vision, and I happened to be willing to kind of step in and try to help realize that mission and vision. And 2012 was our first kind of departure from the Texas Contemporary Art with the Rembrandt exhibit. And it was a Rembrandt etchings exhibit. And so that really has kind of taken us in a whole new direction. And ever since then, we just keep growing and growing. So I'm excited to be a part of it. And now I'm officially full-time here. I've been here as a paid employee for the past couple of years. So that's been great. Yeah.
Now, I mean, you guys, like you said, already have things planned out for the next 2 to 3 years. What do you see the future of Arlington Museum of Art?
Yeah, I just see it will continue to grow. And one way, not necessarily it could grow square footage wise, but I think the main growth is going to be in the programming that we have. We will probably be looking at some residency programs, bringing in some artists to do some artist in residency. We'll expand our education programs. We do Art and Wine right now, which is a really popular program for adults. So we think of art and art education not just for young people, but for lifelong people. There's people like George W. Bush is a great example. You know, he had a career and everything, but he still wanted to dabble in art. And so later, after he retired, he started doing that. So there's a lot of people that we know that we see that all the time, retirees that really want to explore art as an option. So we'll grow in more of our programming.
That's amazing. Yeah, it is also, it's good therapy for people, and it's something that I think a lot of people don't think about. And they think, well, I mean, what am I going to do with it afterwards? Well, you give it to somebody, or you put it up on your wall, or you throw it away if you want to. Maybe donate it to Goodwill. Like, just, you know, as long as you're doing it and you know, you're having fun with it, and it's almost a form of meditation, because you're creating something and you're really putting your focus in on each brushstroke, or even if you're etching or, you know, making clay pots, whatever it is, that as long as you are doing something to where you are helping clear your brain out, and just kind of any creative outlet really is good for people.
Absolutely. And I think the other component with that is demystifying art for people. We find a lot of times that people feel comfortable at our space because we try to find a way to make art more accessible and demystifying it a little bit, because I think, you know, we see a lot of times people, they don't know what they're supposed to do when they go to a museum. It's almost like going to a library where you have to whisper. And we've kind of changed that. We have music that plays to encourage people to have conversation and talk about the art. Sometimes it's provocative. Sometimes it's just beautiful, but we want people to talk about it, think about it, and engage with the art. So demystifying the art so that it can be for everyone is, I think, another component along with that.
Yes, I mean, I very much agree with that. Now, we have a segment on the show called Tournament of Toppings, where we're trying to find the best pizza place in Arlington. What is your favorite pizza place in Arlington?
Probably Cane Rosa is probably my favorite. I like the wood-fired. It's funny because I went to Italy years ago as a kid, and my favorite was I can't even think of what it's called right now, a margarita pizza. And so I spent years looking for one that was wood fire baked. And when Cane Rosa came in, I had one of theirs. Love it. Just the simplicity of it's perfect.
Yeah, I did hear that was one of the reasons why there was a bit of a delayed opening, is they were working on getting the oven over here from Italy. So, yeah, I mean, that place is so good, and I love that each one of them really includes themselves in the community as well, because I know that one has Hurtado barbecue. It had Legal Draft on draft whenever they were open. But, yeah, they are always making fantastic pieces, and I always look to see what the pizza of the month is, just to check it out as well.
Yeah.
Now, if people wanted to find y'all online, come to the museum, buy tickets, where can they do so?
Yeah, arlingtonmuseum.org is our website. It's pretty easy to find. Like I said earlier, there's all kinds of information on there, from our art and wine program to summer camp, ticket sales, everything there. All the information about when we're open, visitor information, what to expect, and then always they're always welcome to just walk up 201 West Main, downtown Arlington. So either one, website or just show up, and we're just happy you're here.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait to go check out this Taylor Swift exhibit, and then what the future holds for y'all at the new expo hall as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
There once was a man, lived his life by the plan. His commitment turned into a crutch. Spent every waking hour keeping others in power. Then he never amounted to much. All his hopes, all his fears, all his blood, sweat, and tears, some were shed, but nothing to show. So tell me, where's the good, doing all that you should, when it only leads you to hell?
Thank you so much to not only Pratty Punk, you just heard Boxed Rebellion, but on the top of the show, you heard brand new Revolver. But also thank you so much to Chris Hightower from the Arlington Museum of Art. I cannot wait to see not only the Taylor Swift exhibit, but also the way they are going to take over the expo hall over at the Esports Stadium in the entertainment district. That area is just getting better and better. I can't wait for the Medal of Honor Museum to happen over there and everything else. So Arlington is growing, and of course that is never a bad thing for us. So but while you're out checking out the city of Arlington, make sure to head over to Dr. Jekyll's every Monday night, because that is trivia night, which starts at 7 p.m. And then also every Monday is open mic comedy night, over at 1851. Sign up at 7:40. Show starts at 8 p.m. And then every Wednesday at Jambo's Barbecue, catch UTA Jazz Night from 5:30 to 7:30. Also every Wednesday night, head on over to Division Brewing for their trivia night. That is from 7 to 9 p.m. Make sure to go out there and eat local, drink local, and go rediscover your city. Tag us and send those pictures over to us on Facebook, Arlington Citizen Media, Twitter, ATX Citizen Media, Tag us on Instagram, Arlington Citizen Media, and send those pictures the old-fashioned way. Email arlingtoncitizenmedia@gmail.com. Also go to our website, www.arlingtoncitizenmedia.com. Don't forget to subscribe and give those 5-star reviews of The Downtown at Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and also hit us on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and YouTube.